Hello and welcome to LIVMCI Focus. It is post-match reaction show time after Liverpool have just beaten Manchester City to go 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League, 9 points clear of our supposed closest challengers, Manchester City, and sitting pretty at the very top of the table going into yet another international break. But of course, let's not worry about that for now. Let's just talk about how magnificent Liverpool were today, winning by 3-1 in front of, I think it's got to be said, an incredible Anfield crowd. I mean, for a Sunday afternoon kickoff, that was brilliant. And if you were at the stadium, then hats off to you, because you did a wonderful job, whoever you are and wherever you were. I mean, straight away, seeing the coaches come into the stadium, obviously it was nothing like the European game a couple seasons ago. We didn't see anything getting thrown at the coach. You can say whether you think that's a good thing or not, but it didn't quite feel like the same atmosphere. But for a Sunday afternoon kickoff in November as well, this early on in the season, to see that pyro, to see all them fans out singing the songs, intimidating the Man City players, whether it was through throwing stuff at them or just singing songs at them, either way, whatever we do seems to have an effect on them. And they did seem rattled going into the game. They obviously were. We scored 2 goals inside 12 minutes against them. I mean, from minute one, it was just clear who was going to be the dominant team today. I think all the way through the week, I've been massively confident about this game. If you don't believe me, you can check my pre-match video as well. I predicted 3-0. Unfortunately, I forgot that Liverpool will inevitably concede a goal at home, because that just seems to be the way we're doing things so far this season. But all 3 goals were absolutely sublime. The first one from Fabinho, I think pretty much everyone was begging him to shoot. We knew Claudio Bravo in net. There was already an opportunity there. That was Liverpool's into this game. We already knew who we were pressing. I love the way we closed him down no matter what. We basically man-marked him in the first half hour of the game. And as soon as Fabinho gets that ball, without being closed down, he's got space, he's got time. Everyone's begging him to shoot, if only just to test the goalkeeper, just to see, you know, test his bottle, see what his nerves are like. And clearly he had not come to Anfield prepared for this kind of game, because Fabinho whams it past him. It's right into the same corner that Oxlade-Chamberlain put in 2 years ago. It is a fantastic finish, only his 2nd goal for Liverpool, and what a time to get it. It was brilliant, and that set the tone for the entire game. You know, from there on in, that calms any pre-match nerves that might have existed. It keeps the crowd going as well. You know, early goals in this kind of fixture are so important. You've heard pundits in the past say that in these types of games, the most important thing is just to keep it tight 15 minutes. Don't lose control of the match. You know, never mind that. When it's Liverpool at home, the most important thing is getting a goal early on that just lifts the crowd yet again. And from there on, they were absolutely rabid. You know, I think the moment I knew we were winning the game was not any of the goals. It was when a Man City player, I think it might have been that lad they've got a left back at the moment, Angelino, he misplaces a pass, it goes out for a throw-in, and everyone on the lower Kenny Dalglish stand, mind, is going absolutely mental. They are loving it. They are giving it bifters to those Manchester City players. That's when you know that they've got absolutely no chance, because the crowd was up for it, the players were up for it, the managing staff were up for it. Everyone knew how much this game meant, and I just don't think it meant as much to those Man City players. And listen, maybe that's because they've won back-to-back leagues. Maybe they're just not as hungry for success this season as Liverpool are. You know, you can make plenty of arguments on that just based on how they've played so far this season and the poor results they've got in comparison to Liverpool, and the way we've been able to pull results out of the fire in a way that they just haven't so far this season. But it just felt like we were desperate for it, and they did not know how to cope. And then the 2nd goal, my God, I mean, the technique for that goal. We can talk all we want about tactics and everything like that and how Liverpool wanted the game more, but just in sheer terms of the quality of our players, that ball from Trent on his weaker foot as well into the path of Robertson to get an attack going from that kind of position, to switch it, to play it forward and to start a counter-attack in that manner is sublime. And then the cross from Andrew Robertson, I mean, Fernandinho is at full stretch to get that. And yes, he's a 34-year-old central defensive midfielder playing out of position at centre-back. So maybe it's no surprise that he doesn't exactly know what to do when a cross into the box that is that good comes his way. But he's at full stretch to try and clear it, and he gets nowhere near it. And it's just straight on a plate for Mo Salah, as perfect as it can possibly be. He doesn't have to do anything apart from look Claudio Bravo up and down and be like, well, you know what, lad? If I head this against your momentum, there's no way you're ever getting at this. And that is exactly what Mohamed Salah does. It's a perfect header. Claudio Bravo's just completely flat-footed against it. Every single bit of that attack is mind-blowing. The ball from Trent, the cross from Robertson, the header from Salah, you know, from defensive to attack in just a moment. It is exactly what this Liverpool team is all about, especially in these games against Man City, and we didn't see that enough last season. Like I said in the pre-match video, we showed them too much respect. We didn't do our usual game. We didn't play the way we know works against Manchester City. It's all about defence to attack as quick as possible, pressing them, putting them under pressure, and taking our chances when they count, and that is exactly what we did today. And like I said, 2-0 up inside 12 minutes. The game is pretty much gone from there on in. It didn't matter what Man City did. They'd sit off and let us have the ball. They'd put us under pressure. Whatever they did, it just didn't work. You know, I think in the second half I saw a stat. They had 9 shots, 6 of which were blocked, 6 shots that didn't even get as far as the goalkeeper, because like I said, whether they attacked, whether they defended, whatever they did, Liverpool always had the answer, and it's down to that goal we got early on. And again, I know I'm almost tooting my own horn here where I keep talking about the pre-match video, but it's exactly what I said. Press them and press them early. Get those goals, because once we went 2-0 up, it was like that Champions League game, the 3-0, where it's once you've got that advantage, City don't know what to do in terms of fighting back. They haven't got the same willpower that this Liverpool side has. They have got that mental block when it comes to playing at Anfield. So if you get those goals early, if you give yourself a cushion, and they've got no idea how to break you down, and that's what happened today. You know, all the way through the first half, we just looked completely comfortable. There was no chance of them getting through. Hopefully Mo Salah's okay as well. He was clearly playing through some sort of injury. I think we've gambled a little bit there with the international break coming up. He'll almost definitely be withdrawn if he hasn't already from playing any games for Egypt, so he can recover, because this ankle injury has been very much an on and off thing. But I thought, even though he did have that injury to deal with, in the second half he was fantastic. In the second half everyone was fantastic. I mean, I love the bones off of every single one of these Liverpool players. They are brilliant. The cross from Jordan Henderson for Sadio Mane's goal as well. I mean, how about that? For a player who is lampooned for not being creative enough, for not creating enough chances, not doing enough going forward, being too defensive, being too workmanlike, the way that he just gets to the byline, he works hard, he keeps the ball moving, and he whips in a beautiful ball for Sadio Mane. And once again, it's a Mane header to make it 3-0 against Manchester City at Anfield, and they looked absolutely done. Pep Guardiola's head is clearly gone. I should probably say a little bit about that. The handball that obviously was involved in the build-up to our first goal. Pep Guardiola was going absolutely mad. I mean, to be honest, I think for the main reason being that Bernardo handballs the ball before it even gets to Trent Alexander-Arnold, so whatever happens from there on in, there's no way it can be given as a penalty. But also, it's a natural position, and yeah, Trent handles it late on in the game as well. Sterling goes absolutely bananas. Sterling, by the way, completely lost his head today. I loved the way that he was just, you know, he was calling for everything. He was so frustrated with the referee. He was playing like a man who knew that whatever he did, it didn't matter because he was never going to get through. Yes, there's maybe a Trent handball late on in the game as well, but again, it's another one where his hands are by his side. I mean, you can't expect everyone to play with their hands tied behind their back at all times, and the whole thing with the new rule about a natural position for the hand and a natural silhouette and whatever, he never raises his arm at any point, and every single time the ball is basically just booted at his hand. So I don't think City deserve penalties for either of those incidents. Pep Guardiola can cry his bottom out, if you like, sorry, all he wants, but he's never going to get a penalty for either of those. It was great to see him absolutely losing his head with the referee at the end of the game as well. But all in all, a fantastic game for Liverpool, and yeah, we concede the late goal. That's a little bit disappointing, but as I said, that always seems to happen at Anfield, and City are a fantastic team going forward at the end of the day. It was a brilliant finish from Bernardo Silva, and I think what's so impressive is the way that we just didn't allow them back into the game after that. You can argue that maybe it was a little bit nervy because they had a lot of the ball, but if you've got faith in this Liverpool side, and God knows I do, and God knows pretty much everyone does at the moment, you never felt like City were actually going to break through. I think what was really, really encouraging was how the late substitution, bringing on Joe Gomez for Mohamed Salah, didn't affect us in the way it has in the past. You know, that was always a criticism of Jurgen Klopp in the first maybe 2.5 years of his reign, was we'd do that late substitution where we'd bring on an extra centre-back for an attacker, go to a back five, and if anything, it was almost counterproductive. It led to us sort of inviting the opposition on and created disorganisation at the back. What we've got now is Joe Gomez plays as a sort of half right-back, half centre-back, and Alexander-Arnold plays as a half right-back, half winger. So, listen, if we're really under the cosh, it does change to a back five. But when we're not, and when we're trying to actually play the ball forward and push Manchester City back, it turns into a much more regulation back four where Joe Gomez plays at the right back and Trent plays so much further forward. Today was just testament to Liverpool working out every single problem we've ever faced against Manchester City in a way that City just didn't. They tried to come here and play their usual game without taking into account that these games are special. You can't just come in with your usual game plan and hope that it's good enough. You've got to come in knowing that the opposition is so incredible, so tactically astute, that you've got to have a specific game plan to get you through. City didn't have that today. They tried to wing it. Liverpool did not. Liverpool came in knowing exactly what they needed to do to get the result. And as it stands, we are now 9 points clear of Manchester City, 8 points clear at the top of the table, as I said at the top of the video, and we are sitting pretty going into yet another international break. And of course, when you look at the upcoming fixtures as well, it's looking very rosy for Liverpool. We've already played the entirety of the top six. We've already played Leicester as well. That was only the second game City have played against the top six so far this season. They've already drawn against Spurs. They've lost against us. They haven't even played Leicester either. They've got that coming up later on in December. Their next game is Chelsea at home. Right now, it's really looking like Liverpool's title to lose. And I don't want to stick my neck out too much on this channel and say something that I'm going to regret. But in the current position we're in and the way we're playing as well, we look absolutely unstoppable, and I would not be surprised if we go in on the 25th of December, Christmas Day, with a double figures points lead at the top of the Premier League table. But never mind all that for now. Let's just revel in the performance today. 3 absolutely gorgeous goals, a brilliant performance in Liverpool. I haven't even talked about Fabinho, and he was incredible today. Probably the man of the match, I think it's fair to say, absolutely everywhere. Brilliant goal to set us up, and then defensively, he was brilliant. Dejan Lovren as well. The amount of blocks he made, tackles he made, no one was getting past Dejan Lovren today. Trent Alexander-Arnold up against Raheem Sterling. I've never seen Raheem Sterling more rattled than he was today, but Trent Alexander-Arnold was just not giving him the time of day. Robertson fantastic as usual. Van Dijk is fantastic as usual. Alisson an absolute brick wall in net apart from the goal he concedes. Henderson and Wijnaldum, fantastic work rates from them. Firmino fantastic on the ball. Mane a constant menace, always pressing. Mo Salah clinical when it mattered. I love the bones off of every single one of these Liverpool players, and I'm sure you do at the moment, and it will be a crime if they do not finish this incredible season as the champions of England, Europe and the world. So that is all for today's video. Thank you guys very much for watching. As always, if you did enjoy this video, hit that like button down there, hit that subscribe button there if you're new around here. Check out some of the other videos that have been out on the channel over the past few days. Don't forget to follow at LIVFocusTV on Twitter, and I'll be back in a bit for the pre-match content for our next game against Brighton after the international break. Until then, bye for now.